Hi, thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to be sharing a sequence for respiratory health. I've been practicing the sequence myself for the last week since I just came out of quarantine from COVID. It is not a beginner sequence. There will be inversions in here. There'll be long inversions, headstand, shoulder stand with the chair. So it is an advanced practice. Now this sequence will also be fairly prop intensive. I'm going to use 2 bolsters, 4 blankets, a chair, and my wall. Let's get started. We're going to start with a bolster, blanket for the head. I have a blanket under just to make it a little more comfortable for my feet. And we're going to start in Virasana forward and feeling really the breath in the back body. So the sequence will have poses that are supine on the back, and then we'll have poses that are prone, where we're resting more on the stomach and on the front body, which allows us to feel the breath in the back body. So I'm coming to sitting on my heels, my knees to the side. I'm bringing the bolster in all the way. If you need a little blanket between the knees and the buttocks and the heels, go ahead and do that. If you're sitting taller though, you might need more height on the bolster. You want to support your abdomen, your trunk. And then I'm coming forward, lifting the chest, pressing the hands into the mat, descending the buttocks down towards the heels, and coming forward, and then support the head, forehead on the blanket. And then I'm going to rest my arms here. And I'm just going to stay here. So go ahead, stay in this pose and just relax. Feel your breath in the back body. Going to slowly come back up. Take my blanket off. I'm going to do a little twist to the side. I'm putting my bolster out by my right knee, folding this blanket, and I'm bringing that in all the way up towards my abdomen. And then I'm going to stretch out through my left arm, use my right hand to press into the floor and turn the abdomen over that right leg. And then I'm reaching out with the left hand, turning the abdomen, bringing the head down, rolling the shoulder back. I can bring my hand on the bolster here. You could do head down if that feels better. You could put a blanket under your forehead. Just feel that gentle twist of the trunk, of the ribs. Going to come up. Let's move this over to the left knee. Bring the blanket to the abdomen and lift your abdomen up, and then stretch your right arm out. Use your left hand to press into the floor and turn that abdomen to the left. Over that left knee, reach the right arm out, turn your head. Lengthen that right side. And put your hand up on the bolster. Breathe into the ribs. And come back up. Now this next pose is supported Adho Mukha Svanasana, supported downward facing dog, which normally I would use my ropes for. But I'm going to show you how you can make downward facing dog supported with a chair and some blankets on top and my two blocks. So I'm going to step my feet to the outside of the chair legs. Now you do need this chair to be just below the hip crease. So if it's up near your stomach, it's too high. You want to be able to bend at the hip crease. So you could stand on a couple of blocks to make it taller. Or you could come forward, take the blocks. You could start with the high setting, reach those blocks out, and then place your head down. I know this chair is perfect for my height. I'm going to place my forehead at the very front edge of that chair. Forehead resting, arms reaching, legs working, drawing up, rolling inwards, backs of the thighs spreading. Lengthening my trunk out of the pelvis. Lowering the blocks, see what that feels like. Just breathe here. Let your abdomen relax, release towards the spine. Bring your hands back on the chair seat. Straighten your arms. Look forward. Come to concave back. And go ahead. Come all the way up. Now the next pose is going to be Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward bend. I'm going to show two options here. The easier option is using the wall, standing, leaning back into the wall, taking your feet wide, rolling the legs in, coming forward with the chest forward, reaching forward over the chair, and then just rest your head on the chair, rest the forehead, work the legs, press the outer feet, press the big toe mounts, draw the legs up. And this is one way of doing this pose. Now for this slightly more advanced way of doing the wide-legged forward bend, Prasarita Padottanasana, I'm going to use my rope wall. I'm going to take a blanket for my head because I need just a little bit of height there for my head. I'm stepping in and coming forward into Prasarita Padottanasana. So I want to end up with my heels right under my hips. So I may have to walk my feet a little forward and extend the trunk forward, lift up through your arms, get that concave back going, press the outer heels, press the big toe mounts, roll the legs inwards, and then walk your hands back, straighten your arms again, get that concave back going, and then depending on the flexibility, come down. See that your heels are still. Now the rope might be pulling me back a little bit here, so I have to work a little bit different with the rope versus when I don't use the rope. So I'm going to bring my hands back in between the legs. And And stay in the pose here. I'm lifting my shoulders up, pressing the hands down to lift those shoulders up. Notice that the neck isn't crunching. It might be that in my case, I put a little bit too much blanket. Now my neck is free, letting the head go down. Maybe you don't need a blanket. Maybe you need a little more blanket or a block. So the rope is helping me to draw up through the legs, to firm those legs, to work them, even as my mind is resting here. Relax the abdomen. Inhale, look up, straighten the arms, walk the hands forward. Join the feet together and come all the way up out of the pose. Next I'll be doing a handstand. Come to the wall, then down, place your fingers, your hands, spread your fingers, walk back, stretch your arms, come into this kind of half down dog. Now come forward, roll the inner arms forward, be strong in those arms. Now kick up into Vrksasana, handstand. Look up towards the feet. Lift up through the heels, spread the toes. Look down. See if you can bring one heel away from the wall. See if you can stand here. And come down. Now let's repeat this handstand. I felt a little tightness in my right shoulder from using the computer too much this last week when I've been sick with COVID. So, and this using the belt is really also a good way if you're not quite strong enough for that handstand. So you're going to I'm going to give myself a little lift with that belt. You'll feel that. So if you're not quite there yet with that handstand, take a belt and make it shoulder width, just above the elbows. And then I'm going to kick up again. I'm going to kick up with the leg. That's always harder for me, but with the belt, that should help. So spread the fingers, roll the hand towards the index and thumb. Stretch back. Come forward, bring the shoulders over your hands, lift up through your inner arms. Now I'm going to kick up with my left leg kicking off here. And I notice how I lift up through the heel, lift the buttock, and I keep that back leg straight as much as possible. And I wasn't quite there, so I'm going to repeat it one more time. This is my harder leg kicking with that left leg. Not as much control here, but my shoulder feels better. The belt is helping me to lift up through my arms. I'm reaching up through my heels. I'm moving the tailbone up towards the heels, spreading the soles of my feet, looking slightly up, getting that length in the back body. Now looking a little bit down towards the floor, see if I can balance here with the heels off the wall, up and coming down. All right. Next pose we'll do is headstand. All right, so for headstand, if you have a thin mat, fold it in twos, right? One or two folds. Now this mat is a little thicker, so I prefer to just fold it one time. And I'm going to be doing my headstand against the wall today, so it's a little bit more supported. And a way that I like to make it stable, and it's also good for the hips, is with a block between the legs. Now it takes a little more practice to come up with that block between the feet. But this will be my practice today. You don't have to use that block between the feet. Now interlace the hands at the wall. Press the outer wrist, press the fingers down, little finger side down, press the elbows, and lift your neck up and away from the shoulders. Bring the head down. And then I'm going to come up with this block, sliding that block off the wall. And the block, just for me in my case, because I have some hip issues, it's nice to have the legs a little bit apart. I'm keeping my heels at the wall for this more restorative headstand. Reach up through the heels, spread the toes, spread the soles of the feet. Reach up through your inner legs. Keep the base of the pose, the elbows, the forearms pressing down, lifting the shoulders. Legs are firm, legs are working just as much in the upside down poses as they are in the normal gravity poses where we stand on the feet. Thighs firm, kneecaps drawing up to the thighs. Legs rolling in. Tailbone is curling up, the front of the spine, middle of the buttocks pressing forward as the front of the thighs press back. Keep those shoulders lifted. And slowly bend the legs. Keep the hips lifted. Take your knees down towards the chest. Slowly with control, come down. And rest back. Rest your arms. Rest your head. And come up through Uttanasana. Let the head hang. Let the shoulders relax. And inhale, come up all the way. Next, we're going to use a chair at the wall and some blankets and a mat. Now, this next pose is Viparita Karani Sirsasana, which is also an upside down pose with an extension of the back body. So I've placed 2 blankets on the chair. I've placed the mat underneath, and then I've placed 2 standard folded blankets on the floor. So come to sitting, tuck your shirt in, come to sitting on the chair, and scoot your buttocks in. And then bring your hands down on the chair, walk down, start to extend your back, bring the feet up a little bit. You can attach your heel, the calf against that chair so you don't feel like you're falling back. And then come down, bring your head down onto those 2 blankets. And this height may not work for you. Maybe you have a longer trunk, you need more blankets under the buttocks. Maybe you need more height under the head. And I keep holding for this pose. I'm going to keep holding the sides of the chair, open my collarbones, roll my shoulder blades into the back. And then I'm going to keep my feet on the wall here just for a little bit, getting used to the pose and that extension of the back body. And that stretch of the front body, the front of the spine. Adjust. Breathe. I'm going to take my hands on the inside of the chair and hold the back of the chair. You don't have to do that. See what that feels like. I'm holding the back bar. That might be too much. You can keep your hands on the outside. Don't have to take your hands in between those chair legs. This rolls my shoulders under a little bit more. I'm going to stretch one leg up. Now it's a little difficult to feel where that leg is in space, but I want to stretch it right up so it should feel like my heel is descending down towards my hip. My leg is descending down into the hip socket. And if it feels okay with both legs, if it feels okay on your back, your lower back, you can do both legs. If it doesn't feel okay on your back, you can do one leg. You can switch. And get a sense of where that leg is. Your proprioception. Get a sense of that leg drawing down into the hip socket. Let your abdomen relax. Maybe try both legs. Once both legs are up, really lift your chest. Draw the shoulder blades into the back so there's more of a curve in the upper back than in the lower back.
Sacrum is resting on those blankets. I'm going to put my feet back on the wall. I'm going to take my arms out. Now, if this doesn't feel good, don't stay in this pose. I'm going to bring my arms down as if I was doing my headstand, exactly the same, bringing my arms into, well, my hands rather, into the headstand position, interlacing the hands behind the head, pressing the forearms, the elbows down. And I'm feeling that my lower back is more comfortable with just one leg at a time. So I'm going to do one leg at a time. If you're comfortable with the two legs, do the two legs. Stretch up through those legs. Feel the connection into the ground through those arms, through the wrists, through the hands, through the elbows. And place your feet back on the back of the chair. Take your arms in, hold the side of the chair. Now bring your feet into Baddha Konasana. Feet together, bound ankle pose, knees apart. And then join the knees together. I'm going to hook my one ankle on the back of the chair. I'm going to lift my head up. And then I'm going to very, very slowly, I'm pushing one foot into the wall, in fact. I'm going to very, very slowly come down with control. Bring the, scoot back a little bit. My head is getting stuck. So I'm going to scoot back a little bit so my sacrum is resting on these blankets like that. And my chest is down on the floor. I move the chair in a little bit. Just stay here in this kind of chair shavasana here with the sacrum resting. And then go ahead, bring the knees into your chest, roll to your side, and let's join me for the next pose. Now the next pose is going to be Supta Virasana. So Supta Virasana, reclined hero pose, has always been a difficult pose for me, so I'm going to add a little height. So I have a bolster, I have a block in front, I have another cross bolster on top. And I'm going to make that a little bit taller by putting a blanket. And I want this blanket to come right under my chest, my shoulder blades in the back. Yeah, that's it. And then I'm going to have one more blanket to protect my knees a little bit. So I'm folding a blanket and I'm putting that under my heels. Now,
if you do have knee problems, be careful with this pose. Now when you lean forward, you should see your heels on the outside of your thighs. Now, if you do have knee problems, maybe have a little gap between your knees. And then take your hands, take your calf flesh back, move the inner knees forward, do that with both knees, and then sit back. Sit back on that blanket. Take a minute here to make sure your knees are happy, especially moving those inner knees forward. Inner knees, especially if you have meniscal problems, there. Press your outer feet. And make sure you're right in front of that bolster. You're centered in the front. Sit here just for a few seconds. Lift your chest. Roll the shoulders back. Descend the tailbone down. Then start to walk back. Lift the buttocks. Move that tailbone down towards the knees. Curl it up the front of the spine. And then lie back. See that this blanket is supporting your shoulder blades. So it's a Supta Virasana with a little bit of height. That works for me. Otherwise, this pose tends to get a little cranky in my low back. So in this way, I can access it. I can stay in the pose for a little bit, for long enough, in a comfortable way. Take your arms over the head. If you don't need that much height, you can use 2 blocks. You don't have to have a blanket between the buttocks and the heels. Lengthen the trunk, pull your elbows away from the armpits to lengthen the trunk. Change the hold of your elbows. And then slowly bring your arms back over your head. Hold the soles of your feet. Press down. Come up, leading with the chest first. Come to sitting. Descend that tailbone down. And then come up. And let's just stretch one leg back. Make the knees happy. And let's transfer this setup into a Supta Baddha Konasana. So I'm going to just take my 2 blankets here
Actually, I'm going to move the base blanket and then take 2 blankets, fold them, and bring them to the sides of my hips like this. I'm going to use the slightly bigger bolster of my 2 bolsters. And since this is a sequence for respiratory health, I'm going to add a little more height, a little roll here under just where the bra strap is to really get a lift there. And then I'm going to add my last blanket for the head. And then I'm going to take my belt. So come to sitting on the bolster, take your belt and make a big loop with that belt to come into Baddha Konasana, Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle pose. So I'm bringing that belt over my whole body. I'm bringing the belt under my feet and then my knees on the outside. The belt is on the inside, pulling that strap towards myself, making sure the back of the strap is down towards the lumbar. And then coming forward, lifting again the buttocks, the tailbone towards the heels, tightening that belt, and then bringing these blankets in to support my outer thighs. I need a little more support there. Make it work for your hips, and then lift up. And then when you come back, you want to see that this blanket here with the fold is hitting you in the right spot, just about where the bra strap is. So it gives you just a little more lift of the ribs, the lower mid ribs there. And then support the head just at, and then stretch the arms over the head here. Again, lengthen the trunk. Settle into the pose. Exhale, fully relax your abdomen. Close your eyes. Feel your breath in the front body. And then keep that lift in the chest. Take your arms out to the side with the shoulder blades coiled into the back ribs with the palms facing up. Now completely relax those arms, fingers, your facial muscles. Breath just come in and out naturally. Don't force the breath, just observe it.
Slowly take a couple of deeper breaths. Exhale fully. Undo the buckle on your belt. Join the knees together. And slowly roll to your side. And come up to sitting. Oh, got my little cat joining me. Kitty. Yeah. All right, so normally I would do a restorative shoulder stand with a chair, but I do have to go down and feed my cat, so I'm going, and I have to make some dinner. Okay, so I'm going to finish in a fairly tall Viparita Karani at the wall, and Kitty can't stay in these blankets. So I'm going to have my 2 bolsters, a block, block 2 bolsters like this, and I'm going to put my cat is a very loud purr. Going to put 2 blankets like this, and this and these 2 bolsters and a blanket. So as you can see, it's kind of leaning in a little bit, and I kind of want it to lean in a little bit and down. So my sacrum buttocks are going to go here, and this will be for my trunk. So let's see how we can get into this. So the most important thing here is to get these both buttocks into the wall. So I'm scooting this outer hip in, this bottom buttock into the wall, coming down on these blankets with my shoulder, and then bending my legs, and then I'm really lifting up and scooting my sitting bones towards the wall. So if you notice my chest, how it's really coiled under now, and coiling my shoulder blades into the back ribs, so I get this really nice lift of my sternum, of my chest, and I get this chin lock in this pose. Now I could have also put a belt around my legs to completely relax my legs. And then soften down. Let your abdomen completely relax down here. This setup should make it relax and spread. The same feeling you want to get in if you were doing a chair, a restorative chair savasana, shoulder stand. Let the legs descend down into the hips.
Now go ahead, stay longer in this pose. Stay 5 minutes if you can. And completely relax. Once you come out, cross your legs with those bottom blankets, cross your legs on the bolsters. And then slowly go ahead and come up to sitting. And I'm going to finish today with my pretty cat. And I'll join you next time. Thank you. See you soon.